Namaste, angels. Thank you for joining, liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. This is the weekly general reading for the period of tomorrow's Sunday, October 6th through Saturday to come, October 12th. It is exactly 11:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday night. I did not do that on purpose. Everybody stop for a second, pause, make sure you're thinking about positive thoughts. That's what 11:11 means. It doesn't mean anything else but the universe trying to get your attention to make sure that the thoughts and words that you're speaking or thinking over yourself are positive and toward manifestation of your desires. So everybody take a second. We got a lot to talk about this week. So we got stuff on the Christian calendar and the Hebrew calendar, as well as the celestial calendar. Nothing on the Muslim calendar until Milad-un-Nabi. It's probably still the celebration of the goddess in Hindi practice, because I just mentioned that last week, and it was a 9-day service, so it's probably at least two more days left of that, I would imagine. I think I mentioned it last Sunday. So a 9-day practice. There should be at least 2 more days of that. Also, I remember mentioning, like, in brief, that Yom Kippur was this week, but I don't think I mentioned that the days of repentance started last week. So all this week up to and through the 9th, which is the Day of Atonement, are days of repentance. And that may in part be why some of us have been either reconciling with people or letting things go. But we'll talk about that in a second too. Let's start with the Christian calendar, because I think that comes up first. Mary has 2 feast days this week. Yes, Monday the 7th, which will be, again, on the Hebrew and Jewish or Jewish calendar, will be a day of repentance, is also the feast day of Our Lady of the Rosary. On the 9th, again, is Yom Kippur. And on the 12th, Saturday, the last day for which this reading is, the feast day of Our Lady of the Pillar. So we'll start with Our Lady of the Rosary from franciscanmedia.org. St. Pius V established the feast in the year 1573. The purpose was to thank God for the victory of Christians over the Turks at Lepanto, a victory attributed to the praying of the Rosary. Clement XI extended the feast to the Universal Church in the year 1716, which of course equals 6. The development of the Rosary has a long history. First, the practice developed of praying 156 Our Fathers, in imitation of the 150 Psalms. Okay, we see the 6s that I always remind you guys are associated with Mary first and foremost. That's her first and most important, or directly connected to her, number. And then there is 9, and sometimes you'll see them in tandem. 6, 9, Mary. And of course 13 is Mother in general. Then there was a parallel practice of praying 150 Hail Marys. Soon, a ministry of Jesus' life was attached to each Hail Mary. Though Mary's giving of the Rosary to St. Dominic is recognized as a legend, the development of this prayer and this form of prayer owes much to the followers of St. Dominic. One of them, Alan de la Roche, was known as, quote, the Apostle of the Rosary, end quote. He founded the first confraternity of the Rosary in the 15th century, 6. In the 16th century, of course, 7 equals God, the Rosary was developed to its present form. With the 15 mysteries, 6, joyful, sorrowful, and glorious. In 2002, 1111, Pope John Paul XI, notice we also mentioned Pope Clement XI, it's John Paul II, rather, but it's written like 11, Roman numeral 2. He added 5 mysteries to the light of this devotion. The purpose of the Rosary is to help us to meditate on the great mysteries of our salvation. Pius XII called it a compendium of the gospel. The main focus is on Jesus, his birth, life, death, and resurrection. The Our Fathers remind us that Jesus' Father is the initiator of salvation. The Hail Marys remind us to join with Mary in contemplating these mysteries. They also make us aware that Mary was and is intimately joined with her Son in all the mysteries of his earthly and heavenly existence. The Glory Bees remind us that the purpose of all life is the glory of the Trinity. The Rosary appeals to many. It is simple. The constant repetition of words helps create an atmosphere in which to contemplate the mysteries of God. We sense that Jesus and Mary are with us in the joys and sorrows of life. We grow in hope that God will bring us to share in the glory of Jesus and Mary forever. On the 12th, we have Our Lady of the Pillar. For that, I pulled up a site called America Needs Fatima or Fatima.org. I'm pronouncing it Fatima because I'm presuming it's associated with Our Lady of Fatima, which the last one for this year is actually Sunday the 13th. Every year beginning May 13th through and ending on October 13th, we celebrate Our Lady of Fatima every month. So this is the last one. This is the last month. This site is called America Needs Fatima or Fatima, Fatima.org. Maria of Agreda, who was shown the life of the Blessed Virgin Mary in detail. She probably was a reincarnation and didn't realize it, didn't know it, wasn't able to, receive or understand that message. But she was shown the entire life of Mary in detail, or important aspects of her life. And she wrote a book. She writes in this book called The Mystical City of God that St. James, who was very close to Mary, brother of St. John, whom our Lord called the Sons of Thunder, had a special devotion to the Blessed Mother. This is very true. So did Thomas. And I've actually had both of those names in my life. Well, everybody knows that my name is Mary, essentially Mariama, which is Mary's real name, Mariama, still written this way in most Qurans and in the ancient texts. But my name has been I was born Mariama Thomas, and I married and became Mariama James. And those two saints, Saints Thomas and Saint James, are the closest of Jesus's disciples to Mary. So I always think that's interesting. Becoming the apostle of what today is Spain, St. James was having a hard time evangelizing the northern region of Zaragoza. One night, as he prayed, asking for his plight, he suddenly beheld a great light in the midst of which he saw Our Lady surrounded by a multitude of angels. The interesting thing is that Mary was still living in Jerusalem at the time, but as Queen of the Church, she was given to see all that is concerned in her Son's work, and being shown the prayer of her devotee, had obtained from Jesus to help him in a special way. On learning of their lady's wishes, the angels in her retinue promptly built a throne of luminous clouds on which they sat their queen. And they swiftly carried her across the Mediterranean, serenading her all the way. So now the Blessed Mother consoled her son James and assured him help for his endeavors. She asked him to build a shrine on the spot that she appeared, and as a token for her help to the region, left a marble column or pillar topped by a small statue of herself holding her infant son. Yeah, so because they were so close, she left this to James. She ended up leaving Thomas her girdle when she not passed away, but ascended directly into heaven like Jesus. Anyway, By the pillar, she left an angel to ensure the safety of the holy image until the end of time. According to ancient Spanish tradition, this apparition occurred on January 2nd in the year 40 AD. Of course, 4 is a derivative, a sum of 13 or 1111. Her feast day is celebrated on October 12th, which itself equals 13, the 1 from October and the 12. St. James indeed built the first shrine on that hallowed spot, around which grew the present-day Basilica of Our Lady of the Pillar of Zaragoza. Not long after, St. James was recalled to Jerusalem, where he was the first apostle to suffer martyrdom. So he was killed soon after that. As he prepared to endure death by beheading, Our Lady and her angels again were visibly present to him, fortifying and consoling him. Returned to Spain, St. James's body rests in Compostela, a place of famous pilgrimages. This author was able to visit the Basilica of Our Lady of Zaragoza and to touch the heavenly pillar. One of the marvels concerning this pillar is that it plunges into the earth so that none have ever been able to find its end. I was also told that the statue never gathers dust. As to the angel that was left on guard at the spot, he must still be on watch. As one pursues the architectural marvels of the football field-sized building, head tilting ever upwards, eyes come to a dead halt at what looks like bombs hanging from the ceiling. On alarmed inquiry, one is told that, quote, "Oh yes, these hit the basilica during Spain's civil war, but never detonated. But no worries, they are diffused now." That was the end. So basically what they were saying is if you go there now, you can see actual bombs that landed on the basilica during the war, but they did not explode. I will go from there to the Hebrew calendar. And again, this week we recognize days of repentance. Today, the 6th, day on which I'm doing this reading. Today the 5th, day on which I'm doing this reading. And Sunday the 6th, the first day for which the reading actually is, Monday the 7th, Tuesday the 8th, and then Wednesday the 10th is a day of repentance, but it's also Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. So for Yom Kippur, to talk more about what that is, I went to www.shabbat.org. What is Yom Kippur? The Day of Atonement. Yom Kippur is the holiest day of the year, when we're closest to God and the essence of our souls. Yom Kippur means Day of Atonement. As the verse states, quote, "For on this day he will forgive you, to purify you, that you will be cleansed from all of your sins before God," end quote. The 10th day of Tishrei in 2019, from several minutes before sunset on Tuesday, October 8th, until after nightfall on Wednesday, October 9th, coming on the heels of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, which is on the 1st and 2nd days of Tishrei, is when Yom Kippur occurs. For nearly 26 hours, we, quote, "afflict our souls," end quote. We abstain from food and drink. We do not wash or apply lotions or creams. We do not wear leather footwear, and we abstain from marital relations. Instead, we spend the day in a synagogue praying for forgiveness. You're supposed to make yourself as, humble as possible. That's the point of it, of that. It's humbling, right? I'm not going to participate in anything. I'm kind of like in mourning for myself, for my own soul, as I ask for God's forgiveness for my sins throughout the year or whatever it is. Or my life, maybe. I'm atoning for whatever it is a given person decides they're atoning for. The history of Yom Kippur. Just months after the people of Israel left Egypt in the year 2448 from creation, which is also the year 1313 BC. They sinned by worshiping a golden calf. Moses ascended Mount Sinai and prayed to God to forgive them. After 2 40-day stints on the mountain, full divine favor was obtained. The day Moses came down from the mountain, the 10th of Tishrei, was to be known forevermore as the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. That year, the people built the tabernacle, a portable home for God. The tabernacle was a center for prayers and sacrificial offerings. The service in the tabernacle climaxed on Yom Kippur, when the high priest would perform a specially prescribed service. Highlights of this service included offering incense in the Holy of Holies, where the ark was housed, and the lottery with 2 goats, one of which was brought as a sacrifice, the other being sent out to the wilderness, Azazel. While the high priest generally wore ornate golden clothing on Yom Kippur, he would immerse in a mikveh and don plain white garments to perform his service. He's humbling himself. The practice continued for hundreds of years throughout the time of the first temple in Jerusalem, which was built by Solomon, as in King Solomon, of course, and the second temple, which was built by Ezra. Jews from all over would gather in the temple to experience the sacred site of the high priest performing his service, obtaining forgiveness for all of Israel. When the second temple was destroyed in the year 3830 from creation, which is the year 70 CE, so AD basically, of course, 7 equals God, the Yom Kippur service continued. Instead of a high priest bringing the sacrifices in Jerusalem, every single Jew performs the Yom Kippur service in the temple of his or her heart. And then it goes on to describe exactly how the 40 days are spent traditionally. Anybody wanting to read further? Again, I just got this from Shabbat.org, but I'm sure you can find either this article or another that might be helpful to you just by Googling Yom Kippur. I'm going to move on to the celestial calendar, and the one event that we have to recognize this week occurs on October 8th at 1:06 p.m. Venus enters Scorpio. So on the 3rd of October, we had Pluto, ruler of the sign of Scorpio, go direct. And we had Mercury, ruler of the signs of Gemini and Virgo, to enter Scorpio. So Mercury left. The next day, on the 4th, Mars entered Libra, where Mercury had been with Venus. So now on the 8th, Venus too leaves and enters Scorpio. So she rejoins Mercury again, leaving Mars behind in Libra. Venus in Scorpio. For this, I went to www.tarot.com. Venus in Scorpio, intense, passionate, committed. The transit will occur from October 8th through November 1st. This article was written by the tarot.com staff on March 28th of this year. The Black Widow, the mistress, skeletons in your romantic closet, secretive about money and love, a sexy, magnetic, deliciously irresistible, intimate encounter, a healing and transforming bonding experience. Venus in Scorpio has the power to elicit all of this and more. Astrology considers Scorpio to be a tough placement for beautiful and sweet Venus. Scorpio isn't concerned with superficiality and prefers chasing after a transcendental kind of love. The Scorpion likes to get below the surface to examine issues of power, fear, sex, and desire. When Venus is in Scorpio, Venus trades in social niceties for digging deeply and sparking needed change. Venus is about relationships and is sociable, friendly, and affectionate. Scorpio is about passion and likes to dive headfirst into love. This means we'll crave meaningful and intense experiences when Venus is in Scorpio. Depth and intimacy become more important, urging us to trade in frivolous flings for long-lasting romance. Love can border on obsessive when Venus is in this sign. compelling us to all go in when it comes to matters of the heart, and to go all in, for compelling us all to go in and to go all in. When Venus is in Scorpio, it's a time when we'll want to shine a light on the shadows of our relationship. Those nagging thoughts that we've been pushing aside to make peace, well, they become impossible to ignore when Venus and Scorpio get together. It's a time to go beneath the surface, to find the truth, and to hold it up to the light of day. We'll try to figure out what we can do to make it work, or if it's time to let go. This transit gives our relationships a major reality check, whether we want one or not. Venus and Scorpio can also bring power struggles and money concerns out into the open. Subtle issues become more obvious than they were before. How money is spent becomes a focus in partnerships where financial resources are shared. This could also be a time when we have a stronger interest in making financial investments or decisions about loans, insurance, or other areas of our lives having to do with money. Yes, Venus and Scorpio can be pretty heavy, but it can also be truly amazing. All of this intensity leads to a stronger bond. So if you're up for the challenge, both emotionally and physically, this could be, and it could end up being a transformative and sexy time that ends up bringing you and your partner much closer together. This goes on to talk about if you were born with Venus and Scorpio, natal, if it's some sort of natal return for you in your chart, and what that means. But for me, I'm going to go on to the dice now. So we're starting with, yes, dirty movie and spend money. For me, dirty movie tends to be about things like online dating or, Skype and FaceTime and WhatsApp, those type of things. Maybe sending pictures to someone. Actually, one of my son's friends just today, speaking of dirty movie, text that he and his girlfriend had broken up because he was exchanging nudes. So it's that sort of, it can be that sort of thing. Anyway, Spirit still says dirty movie. So he's not the only one. Someone else is doing that, not only today, but this week. And no. And party. Happy birthday to any Libras celebrating this week. I've got several oracle decks here. Your overall energies for these oracle decks are Soulmate from what I call my hashtag creepy deck. I'll explain why again sometime. But, those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know why. Abundance Mindset. Also, Upright, Cooperation instead of Competition. And Quiet Retreat. Quiet Retreat says it's time to disconnect from the outer world so that you can discern and process your true thoughts and feelings from your inner world. Create this quiet time for yourself and you'll have more clarity about what to do next. This is very earth energy too for me that I'm feeling. Maybe because she's surrounded by flowers and she needs to go and spend time in the world. But Virgo, Capricorn, and or Taurus possibly directly connected to that energy for you. Cooperation instead of competition. What's yours is yours and no one can take it from you. There's no need to compete as there's an abundance for all. You have complete access to unlimited abundance for yourself and to share with others. With cooperative partnerships, you can accomplish anything. And lastly, the first one, actually, with which we started, abundance mindset. If you think of your abundance as something that's happening in the future, then it will always be one day away from you. See, feel, think, and speak of abundance as something that you already have in the present, and that is what you will experience. Let me just push these up as I'm done with them. From the Angel Tarot, Major Arcana card 7, the Chariot. An important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, public recognition. Major Arcana card 7, the Chariot, represents the sign of Cancer in the tarot. It is all about victory, travel, movement, moving. This moving and or travel can be literal or metaphoric. You could be moving forward, or something in your life could be moving forward. Or you may be actually packing up and moving house, or traveling to visit someone, or to vacation or whatever the case may be. Maybe with a partner, maybe a business partner, maybe a romantic partner, but a partner, maybe a friend, a family member. The Two of Fire sits behind the Chariot. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue to move forward. There also may have been some sort of victory for you and a partner, some sort of win, or maybe something involving a hospital or health matter. Could even be like the delivery of a baby or something, with Major Arcana card 19, the Sun behind it. Maybe some sort of clarity into which you came. Maybe you're traveling somewhere where it's sunny. You're going to, Florida, California, the Caribbean, I don't know, anywhere where it's sunny, South America. Happy outcome, brilliant new ideas that lead to success if you have confidence in yourself. And that is Major Arcana card 19, the Sun, which in the tarot represents the sign of Sagittarius, although Earth's star, the Sun, rules the sign of Leo. Right underneath it, it's upside down, but is the King of Water, the King of Cups, who is trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice and charity work, which for me, charity work is love. It's unconditional love when we give of ourselves for no reason, only but to help somebody. The Animal Tarot, the overall energy is the Princess of Summer, sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. The Princess of Summer, like the King that we just saw, the King of Cups, is a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Maybe showing up because, again, we have this week Venus entering Scorpio, perhaps. The Princess of Summer is actually the Page, right? The Page of Cups brings news. So something that might put a smile on your face, maybe that dirty movie, right? Some sort of call, or again, online dating, a text or something, Skyping. Some good news, something you hear, some information that you receive. It's happy, some sort of offer of love. Somebody asks to take you out or something. All of those can be the case. And this week, we may see in a few minutes that the reading is pretty lovey-dovey. Because, again, we're beginning with, or we have overall energies of soulmate, the Chariot. This could even be about cohabitation, moving in together. The Page of Cups. And lastly, twin flame from the angel therapy cards. The answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. Also, when I was shuffling, I saw the Lovers, Major Arcana card 6, which represents the sign of Gemini. And of course, we just also revealed the King of Cups and the Two of Wands, which is the divine union or twin flame card of the tarot, when it's not referring to some other type of partnership or just to faith, maybe in building and manifesting. All right, so I'm going to begin with the Angel Tarot first. Eight of Earth may mean something. Skilled work is rewarded. Learning all there is to know about a topic and maybe even going back to school. It's about reaping what you've sown. Crowning the masculine this week, the Page of Fire, outgoing, creative, confident, mischievous, a Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. Maybe a Scorpio. Could be a Scorpio too. You know, Scorpio is in part ruled by Mars, not just Pluto. So that could be what the fire is about as well. Or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Doesn't have to be a fire sign at all, actually. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. So this may be the same good news that the Page of Cups is here to talk about. Surrounding the masculine, the Six of Air, speaking of travel. things are looking up. It's the end of a difficult situation. You may even be taking a trip. This is another card of movement, like the Chariot, whether metaphoric or literal. It's about moving into calmer, stiller waters. You may have been experiencing some sort of difficult times in the past. I feel somebody, like an actual person, may have been at the root of that. I'm feeling that for somebody. Like a person, somebody was an obstacle to someone, at least one person watching this. But that they're out of the picture, or that the negative energy that was stifling you, it's removed and you're freed from it. And maybe that's what the Page of Fire contacts you to tell you. Maybe that's the news that they bring in to tell you that this obstacle is lifted. Or to offer you an opportunity that in effect lets you know the obstacle is lifted. Like maybe the obstacle was, a lack of employment, for example. And you get a call that you're getting a job or a promotion or something. And so that allows you to move forward. Or maybe you literally have to move. Maybe you have to relocate for the position or something like that. But maybe the boss that wasn't promoting you or whatever, that was the person that was holding you down, somehow they've lost their power, and that's been removed. Masculine subconscious this week. It's another page, the Page of Earth. And so you are getting news about something having to do with a financial matter. It could very easily be a new job or something, or a promotion. Page of Earth, scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful. Good news about financial matters, wanting to do something more challenging, and maybe even a new area of study. Or perhaps you're getting the money that you need in order to travel. You wanted to go away. You wanted to do something. Maybe you want to go away to school, masculine, and you're getting an opportunity to do that. Or to learn some sort of trade, vocation, something. Whatever it is, it's very positive in consideration of all of these cards and, of course, the overall energies as well. Crowning the feminine. Major Arcana card 20, Renewal or Judgment, which represents the planet Pluto in the sign of Scorpio, which it rules. Review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. Judgment is about, it can be about spiritual growth and awakening, for one thing, because I've seen a lot of that. I've started the bi-weekly readings by astrological sign, and I've seen a lot of judgment come through and have it be in association with ascension for many. I think at least like 3 signs that I've done so far, I saw and felt ascension for them through judgment. Of course, judgment is also, for me, about abundance that is earned. Whether that means you earned it on this plane, like through a job, you're getting a promotion because you, some sort of labor on this plane, or the work, your karmic work, good works that you've done at the, you might not be keeping track of all the good things you've done, but the universe does, it keeps track of it all. And eventually the scales get balanced, especially during the period of Libra season. The universe steps in to balance out the scales. And those of us who have not been getting our just due, it's a time when we, the universe decides to recognize us. So that can mean raising you up, again, ascension, and promoting you that way. In which case it will show up down here too, because as above, so below. So you will get some sort of promotion on this plane as well. Or it can just be something on this plane, and you're not really feeling any spiritual shifts. That's possible too. Judgment also about second time around, second chances. So maybe, for example, I know this is the feminine's card, but maybe, for example, a job that you had applied for before, you didn't hear anything about it. Now you're getting a call, or, a job maybe that you got laid off before. They had no more work for you. You're getting called back. Those are possibilities, second chances. It can be a second time around in a relationship too. You tried something, it didn't work out, or you went your separate ways for whatever reason, you separated by circumstance, or you broke up, whatever. And now you're coming back together, or you went out on 1 or 2 dates, you just stopped calling each other and never really turned into anything. But now you've bumped into each other again and you decide you want to try it again. That. Or some people, it's all the way. Like, you've even been married and divorced before, and you're going to try that again still too. And some people remarry and things like that. So it can be second times around, second chances, of any level, varying degrees. Also, as it relates to partnerships and couples of different types, whether it's romantic or familial or friends, it can be about coming to some sort of crossroad and needing to decide, where do we go from here, if anywhere. Similar to what I just read about Venus in Scorpio. You know, maybe it's time that we let things go and we part ways, or maybe we're going to decide that we're going further together, or maybe even all the way, and we need to figure out how to do that. We need to plan that together. So that all the different meanings potentially of judgment surrounding the feminine is the Eight of Air, an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, and being afraid to take action. So this is the kind of thing I was feeling on this side, though. I was talking about like feeling like somebody has you stuck or something. I feel that this is not for the feminine. It's surrounding her because it has to do with a masculine and potentially an actual male in her life, maybe a romantic interest. She may be worried about him going to jail even. Maybe that's part of judgment too. Like some sort of judgment coming down on him. I think she needs to release the worry. We just saw, again, victory with the Chariot. We saw the Sun, all kinds of positive cards. I think this worry is in her head. And the same way I had you guys stop, I said the 1111 is an alert, a warning, like, hey, pause and make sure that your thoughts are positive and that you're manifesting good into your life and not negative. Because we can focus on negative too, and our thoughts become our reality just the same. So I think that there's a potential, no, we're not all at risk of manifesting jail, but you know, we are all at risk of manifesting some sort of negative thoughts into our reality when the Eight of Air is showing up. So I think we want to be aware of that and change that energy, right? Change your thoughts, change your perspective, and make sure that you're focusing on something that's more positive. And bring that into your life, because this is not something that has to happen to anybody. It's like totally a manifestation of one's own. You know, what do they call that when you? I can't think of the cliche phrase. In any case, yeah, good things want to come to the feminine. The Ten of Earth in her subconscious, a very happy family life, security, and finding magic in the little things in life. So again, we could connect this to judgment in the more positive sense in terms of abundance being on its way to you. And this can be in the form of some sort of lump sum, maybe even with the Ten of Earth. Ten of Earth often shows up for me as some sort of inheritance. Somebody passed away, they're leaving you something, or they've left you something. It could be like a family home, an asset, something may be going on with that. You know, even if no one left it to you, something could be happening in terms of a home or some sort of asset or bank account or something. But, you know, it's positive with judgment here. Although, again, the feminine seems unnecessarily worried, and I do recommend that she change that. Crowning. Major Arcana card 2, the High Priestess, which represents the sign of Gemini. In the tarot, also considered to represent water signs. Listen to your intuition, have patience, and consider carefully what you want before acting. High Priestess, in terms of relationships, sitting here next to Judgment, which is also a 2, right? It's Major Arcana card 20. It can be about relationships where you're extremely attracted to one another. Extremely attracted to one another. You may have some sort of differences too, like just be like a motley crew, a motley couple, you know. Like, why are you guys interested in each other? But you are, and it's intense, you know, whether you're different ages or different religions or different financial backgrounds or whatever the case is, the attraction is high. The High Priestess on her own is someone who may be kind of secretive. She's super wise and, you know, psychic, intuitive, and, you know, follows her gut, gets all kinds of warnings and messages, signs, and synchronicities, and she follows them, and she might not tell anybody anybody else what she's doing. You know, she might not tell anybody what she's determined her next step is. She tends to keep that kind of stuff to herself and just like move in silence. And so when she shows up, she's suggesting that you do the same. If you have some sort of decision to make, you got a next move to make, maybe you're thinking about a second time around. Don't tell your friends that are going to, you know, put your stuff in, you know, their opinions in your ear. Don't tell somebody who may salt your opportunity. You know, sometimes you tell people stuff and they're just like, you think that they're people who are going to be happy for you, and their expression either changes for the negative or like not at all. Like they just don't seem genuinely happy for you. Those are haters. And so that's why she keeps stuff to herself. Like you don't want them to salt it, if you know what I mean, like ruin the chances. Things turn out sometimes when you go around telling everybody your business, sometimes it just, that brings in negative energy and it doesn't work out well. So that's why she keeps stuff to herself. At the root, speaking of the sign of Gemini, it is Major Arcana card 0, the Dreamer, which in this deck in particular, the Dreamer is the Fool in the tarot. And I never really thought about what sign the Fool is, but in this deck in particular, this card has always represented the planet Mercury for me. I cannot tell you why. It just feels like Mercury, and I know that doesn't make any sense. Like, what the hell does Mercury feel like? But it is what it is. It feels like Mercury, and Mercury is the ruler of the signs of Gemini and Virgo. So that's what this card for me represents in this deck. A leap of faith. Follow your dreams. That leads to unexpected opportunities. And at the heart of the matter, womp womp, 5 of Earth, fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, and uncertain self-employment. So maybe that's something the feminine is afraid of. Maybe there is some sort of actual judgment or settlement that she is awaiting, some sort of decision, maybe a court decision. She's looking for a victory. She's expecting good news or wants good news, but she doesn't know if that's what she's getting. So she's worried. May involve a partner. But again, the signs here indicate it will be positive. And if there's something that was done in the dark, it will be illuminated, come to light. And even if it is concerning a situation with jail with her or somebody close to her, again, there is clarity. Information comes to light. What's done in the dark always comes to light. And, you know, things will go the way they're meant. Justice will prevail and the situation will come out as best it can, you know, because we're not going to get any extra help either, but the scales will be balanced. So even if we have to make some sort of concession, things are going to go as meant, and it looks like they go decently for all involved. Or for you. Decently. Let's clarify these further with the other deck. Maybe I should just, did you guys see this one too? I saw this one. It's the first card. So I had left it behind by mistake. So it would be the card that crowns the masculine here atop the Page of Fire. But maybe I should just leave this out for everyone. Major Arcana card 3, the Empress, which is about abundance, creativity, coming up with creative ways to help ourselves to become more abundant, fertility, new ideas, new projects, new paths, pregnancy, the ability to get pregnant if that's something you want to do. Maybe you want to create a family. 10 of Earth showing up here could be representative of family, abundance, a bundle of joy, that is. Maybe between a couple, the 2 of Wands. Time to hop into action. Use your natural creativity to bring forth prosperity and success in your life. So put that right there for everybody. Somebody, a feminine, could be worried that some sort of family asset, again, is at risk of being lost too. Atop the page of fire is another major arcana card, 20, judgment. So now we have judgment mirroring judgment, the masculine getting his own too. It's time to get clarity about your life purpose and to make changes so that you're on the path most divinely suited to you. Forgive what has been without judgment and fearlessly embrace what's to come. Major arcana card, judgment, again, is about abundance that is earned for me. It is about, asking us to be careful not to be judgmental against, ourselves or other people, not to rush to judgment, make presumptions, or decide things too quickly. Use that high priestess energy and, listen to your gut feelings, your wisdom, your common sense, your street smarts, whatever you got going for you before you make a decision. Don't rush to judgment. Also, this can be about second time around, second chances, new opportunities, or opportunities anew, renewed, coming back to you that maybe you thought were lost before. Lost, talking about the Five of Pentacles sitting here in the middle. They weren't lost. They were just on the back burner for a minute and now they're back. That can involve relationships, jobs, whatever, anything. Sometimes apartments that we wanted, we applied for years ago and now all of a sudden they're calling us. My son got a letter recently, some test he took, like a state job or whatever. He got a letter that his number's up. He literally took the test like 4 or 5 years ago. I forget if the date was 2014 or 2015, but it was years ago. And we just got the letter like 2 weeks ago. So it's that sort of thing. It's coming back around, something. Or abundance that is earned, which would also go along with what the masculine has here. Opportunity, things moving forward finally, and the page of Pentacles bringing news, some sort of financial news too. Raise, promotion, grants, scholarships, new jobs, new homes, new relationships. Surrounding the masculine atop the Six of Swords or air. Accomplished, charismatic and grounded. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible, as I've been saying already this whole time. And money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. Exactly. The King of Autumn, like the page, is a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. So there definitely could be an earth sign involved. Earth sign, Gemini involved, or perhaps a Libra. Major Arcana card 3. The Empress represents the planet Venus, ruler of the signs of Taurus, Libra, and Gemini. At the roots, or the masculine subconscious atop the page of Earth or Pentacles, is Major Arcana card 18, the Moon. It's important to trust your intuition, even if you're unsure of what's happening. All will be revealed soon, so worry is unnecessary. This worry that sits here with the Five of Pentacles, the Moon is saying not to worry about it. If you're getting some sort of guidance, spiritual guidance may be coming through judgment, spiritual ascension, awakening, growth, and the universe is talking to you. God is talking to you. Your ancestors are talking to you, your spirit, the angels, what have you, and guiding you towards something, some sort of financial opportunity, financial gain, material gain, even if you don't know what's on the other side of that, like you don't know the whole story, they're guiding you toward it. They're saying, go ahead and follow, even if you don't have every single detail. Just like trust us. Trust yourself, trust the universe, trust God. Again, trust those other beings, whatever it is in which you believe, and move forward. Be the high priestess first. Listen to your gut. Listen to your heart. Listen to your common sense, your street smarts, your wisdom, your intellect, and then make a move in silence. Atop the feminine's Major Arcana card, Judgment, is the Prince of Spring. Passionate, charismatic, confident, and restless. An opportunity arises that needs your attention right away. Moving quickly is important, yet there's nothing that you can't handle if you follow your inner guidance. The Prince of Spring is a Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Again, maybe even a Scorpio ruled by Mars, the red planet. Maybe that's where the fire is coming in. Or it doesn't have to be a fire sign or a Scorpio at all. Again, just some one of those traits or attributes. The Prince of Spring or Wands often just represents an energy that comes in very, very quickly and sort of saves the day, helps you out, and then dissipates, you know. Surrounding the feminine, atop that funky 8 of Swords, is the King of Spring as well. Inspiring, dramatic, ambitious, and wise. Now's your moment to step up into a leadership role. Don't back away from the spotlight, as your plans will be successful as long as you stay focused upon the big picture. The King of Spring, like the Prince or Knight, of course, is also a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Could be like, this could be your energy, feminine, or it could be like a father and a son, or younger, or two, you know, an older person, a slightly younger person to them. Maybe somebody's in their, you know, 20s or 30s. Somebody's in their late 30s or 40s here. This could be who is facilitating. The King of Wands is often somebody who is facilitating something for you, helping you out, especially at work, helping to further you somehow. So they may be like one and the same. This person maybe who's helping you out, helping you to come into some sort of, again, financial gain through judgment, a raise, a promotion, or whatever. This could be your boss. Or you could be placed into a leadership role, maybe with the help of that person. And the energy comes in very, very quickly. Atop the 10 of Earth, which might be representative of the actual gain that you come into, is cause for celebration. The 3 of Summer, or 3 of Cups. You have an exciting reason to celebrate, such as an engagement, wedding, graduation, or birth announcement. Remember to cherish those you love. Yes, there can also be something going on with family, in addition to the family. Again, maybe pregnancy. Maybe we learn about a pregnancy, or someone actually gives birth in the family, or there's a promotion, some sort of increase, some sort of abundance into which the feminine directly or indirectly comes. And it's possible that it's a blessing that her whole family or group, you know, her immediate group, friends, family is receiving. Crowning atop the High Priestess is the 4 of Autumn. Be cautious about living a life of extremes or seeing things in black and white terms. Consider, for example, whether you're spending too much versus hoarding your wealth, or giving too much emotionally versus giving too much emotionally versus building up walls that keep people out. At the root, atop the Fool, the 4 of Spring. It's time to kick back, to relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or very happy home life. So this is a brand new path on which you never walked before, on which some of us may have already been placed, may have recently already been placed on this new path, and this other stuff is, you know, secondary. Or again, this is coming this week, will be placed on this new path, and then all of this is to come. Again, it may have something to do with a home, especially for the feminine, sitting here right next to the 10 of Earth. Maybe she gets a new home, a new apartment. Like I said, somebody maybe calls her up and says, hey, that place you applied for, it's yours. Or maybe you put in a bid, or you're selling your home and you're going to come into money, or you've been asked, you know, move in with me, babe, or whatever. And we're celebrating that, or expanding our family. We're having a baby, all kinds of wonderful things like that. You're remodeling. And so, because you're starting out a new path, it's something that you never did this before. It's something brand new for you, and it's making you extremely happy. And a soulmate may be involved. Or somebody, again, that, you know, you have emotional feelings about. Maybe even one of these, you know, twin flame, sacred, soul contract level relationships could be involved. And at the heart of the matter, atop the 5 of Pentacles, where we were feeling loss or void or lack, boom. The Prince of Autumn, trustworthy, dedicated, protective, and funny. It's important to make a detailed plan before starting any new endeavor. Here's your new endeavor right here. Once you have that plan in place, then you can take immediate action and get as much accomplished as possible. The Prince of Autumn, or Knight of Earth or Pentacles, is all about slow and steady progress. Progress, not loss. It's the opposite of loss. So this is just a fear, again, that we are, puts us at a potential to be manifesting negativity into our own lives, and like self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what I was trying to think of before. We want to avoid that. Instead, make a plan using your intellect, using your gut, using your, again, your street smarts, what you saw in your dreams, your visions, whatever, from wherever you get your guidance, your information, consider it all, and then make a plan and make a move. Everything is like aligning here for things to go great. Now, as far as the 4 of Autumn, I didn't talk about it, but yes, it can be about giving too much or hoarding too much, holding on to something too tightly of which you need to let go, or giving something too freely, whether it's money, material, or yourself, your emotions, your feelings, your love. It can be. Other things that this card can mean for me, the 4 of Pentacles or Earth, is, for example, if you have a job that you've been in and you needed to decide, should you take a new one? You're getting some new opportunity and you're trying to decide, should I take that new job? I'm going to say the answer is yes, with the 4 of Autumn showing up, because for me, this represents a job that you go to just to pay the bills. You don't like the job. It doesn't like you. The people don't like you. You don't like them. And that's the only reason you're there, is because, you know, it's comfortable, because you've been going there forever. And, you know, it pays the bills, but you're not happy. And the same thing goes for relationships. Like relationships where we're going through the motions and we just continue, you know, hi, honey, good night, honey, and like nothing in the middle, because we're not interested in each other anymore. But at the same time, it's habit, right? It's habitual. It's become comfortable in that sense, but it's otherwise uncomfortable because we're not happy. So you might need to leave. Some of us are being given an opportunity for something new, and that means letting go of something old. So some of us will have to think about that. Again, it may involve an earth sign, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. It may involve a Gemini with the High Priestess and the Fool, the Dreamer from this deck showing up. And me having mentioned that I saw the Lovers also and stating that. And the Empress falling out. And the Empress being a ruler of Libra, Gemini, and Taurus again. We also have some water energy here. So actually there's a potential for almost every element. We have the Moon here. That's a Pisces. We have the Chariot here. That's a Cancer. We have Judgment. That's a Scorpio. We have Judgment twice. So a few different signs. And again, it doesn't really matter. But I was trying to give people, try to like pinpoint, narrow it down as much as I can. But with these general readings, and when a lot of energies pop up and a lot of characters pop up like this, you know, it becomes more difficult. Further to all of this, if that wasn't enough. Okay, so maybe here's some more Scorpio energy. Major Arcana card 13, Death or Release to the Masculine. There's some sort of, again, I think what's ending is more of an energy, and it's the energy of lack, energy of crappy job or relationship, of old stuff that wasn't working. And now what you're transitioning into is new, and new relationship or new job or new experience that is going to be good. So something is dying, something that needed to die, died a natural death, and in its place, something born, something new was born, far more beautiful and in alignment with your soul and your purpose. The end of a phase of situation, spiritual transformation. It's time to move on, which again, Judgment can absolutely be about spiritual transformation, awakening, expansion, growth. For the feminine, from the Angel Tarot, Major Arcana card 6, the Lovers with Archangel Raphael. Intimate relationships. Carefully weigh your decisions. Also good health. So the Lovers, if it's not about an actual relationship and just being in love or meeting, the love of your life, or reconciling with a love, or, deepening a commitment with a love, it can be about a heart versus head decision that you're having to make. And, it's like my mind's telling me no, my body's telling me yes. And you need to decide what you're going to do. Again, be the high priestess and, employ your other senses as well. From the Animal Tarot to the Masculine, Major Arcana card 14, Balance, which is temperance in the traditional tarot and represents the sign of Sagittarius. This card too can be about people that are different, finding each other, similar to what I said about the High Priestess. So we have different ideologies, or, different cultures, different backgrounds, but we are interested in one another, and that's fine. Temperance is also a healing energy, about being made whole, restoration. So maybe where there had been a loss, like a 5 of Pentacles, where you had suffered some sort of loss or difficulty, being made whole. And so recovering whatever was lost, or having it replaced by the universe. By merging varying points of view, you can now generate an extraordinary new idea, compromise with others, and collaborate to discover a better solution. Yes, it's also about working out problems. Like I said about Judgment, maybe we've come to a crossroad and we're going to figure out from here, where do we go? What do we do? Some of us who have a actual legal case, I said we may have to make some sort of concessions and not get everything that we want, but the universe is going to balance out the scales. So that would be compromise, negotiation. So some of us experiencing that this week. From the Animal Tarot to the Feminine, the 7 of Winter. So maybe somebody trying to take something from you, or you having lost something before. Again, maybe that's what the 5 of Pentacles was about, some sort of loss. But again, there is recovery this week. Something is coming back, or someone is coming back, or both of those. Also, we're going to want to watch our own temperament, our own thoughts. Swords or Winter, the element is about thoughts and words, and in large part. So those things that we're thinking of ourselves. The 7 of Winter can be about us being afraid to take risks, or lacking confidence, lacking esteem in ourselves. So if you find yourself doing that, you're going to change the words that you're speaking over, from words that, detract from you, to words that are positive affirmations about the things you're trying to manifest. From the Angel Therapy cards, Masculine, past life issue. This situation has a basis in one of your previous lifetimes. Ask your angels to help you to remember, release, like the Death card also asks you to do and suggests, learn, and to heal from your past experiences. So again, I think that Temperance has come to you because you are meant to heal this week. Something will be healed, and something will also be released. Perhaps you were holding on to it before. Like I said, I felt in the beginning that something was restricting the masculine. Something had been holding you back. So that thing or that person is out of the picture. And so that's what's going to help you to release it and to move on. Maybe that person or that experience, that situation had something to do with a past life, or with your past in this lifetime, or both. And it was some sort of karmic experience or karmic relationship. The karma is completed. It's completed this week. And so now comes the reward. And that's coming in the form of Judgment. The Page of Pentacles or Earth, and the King of Pentacles or Earth. And the 6 of Air or Swords, which reconfirms that we're moving into calmer, stiller waters. I'm not going to have a headache and be stressed out every day anymore about this. Things are about to get a lot better. For the Feminine, from the Angel Therapy cards, Power Animal. This card has shown up in this placement for the Feminine in several of the astrological readings that I've done. Your animal spirit is a guardian to you and is helping you with this situation. When Power Animal shows up, it's not just about an animal that maybe we particularly care for. Oh, I like dogs. I like cats. There's some sort of animal spirit that you are embodying. That animal spirit is with you to guide you, maybe to bring you messages. Sometimes people envision things like owls, or you might dream about snakes or whatever. And it's to give you information and for you to take on the traits of that animal as like a superpower. From the abundance angels to the masculine, visualize abundance in all forms. God gave you such a great spiritual power that everything you visualize eventually becomes your reality. Yes, so I don't have to sound like a broken record anymore. Now they're saying it too. Hold a steady vision of that which is beautiful, healthful, positive, and filled with blessings. And that is also what you will experience. For the feminine, bountiful nature. Here's that earth energy coming through again. Spending time in nature helps to shift you to a higher vibration and reminds you of God's infinite abundance. Go outside and enjoy a walk or a hike with your pet. Meditate beneath a tree, garden, or sit under the stars and do some other activity to connect with the limitless vastness. And lastly, from, again, hashtag creepy deck, mature man. So this may be, again, I think it's spiritual maturity. That's the first thing that's coming to me. Again, it's through this judgment. It is spiritual growth. It is ascension and karmic completion. So it's like, you graduated to the next level. This mature man can also be tied to me, for me, to like the more mature signs. It's also very emperor-like for me. The emperor, which represents this planet Mars, ruler of the signs of Aries and Scorpio. The emperor for me is not only like a middle-aged man, but can be like a married man, a divorcee, a widower, a man with children. He could be significant. This can be a boss. Maybe he's, again, the person that I was feeling before. All of those are possibilities with this mature man. But yeah, but I think for the positive, it is you. It's a reflection of your growth, masculine. And feminine, it's another like 3 of Cups kind of card for us. Fun times is what the card is called. But you see the 3 fingers in the air and, the celebration. So it reminds me of the 3 of Cups. So something good, some sort of good news, which again can also be reflected by the Princess of Summer, coming to the feminine this week. And I think it has to do with this situation where she felt stuck and maybe potentially at a loss, and maybe even physically losing something tangible that belonged to her or her family or some sort of opportunity. It will not be lost as long as we keep our thoughts and everything positive. You'll be celebrating by the end of the week. And maybe some of you are pregnant. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the weekly general reading. I will be back with love. Thank you again for joining, liking, sharing, and subscribing. I do appreciate it. Unfortunately, YouTube makes us need it. And if you like a private reading from me or energy healing or, cool merchandise that I have available through some really awesome artists, do check out the description box. I appreciate that too. Namaste.